Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parents Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled Mom tries every dessert at a restaurant, then tries to get her meal for free. After that, Mega Karen thinks she is special because she has a $10 reward program. After that, I demand you pay for or steal the snacks for my kid's birthday party. And after that, are you deaf, you lazy jerk? Let me know that you're not a lazy jerk by smashing that like button. And if you're new, please subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And if you want Karen to read your script for you, visit Mr. Reddit on Fiverr. Link below. Entitled Mom tries every dessert at a restaurant, then tries to get her meal for free. This happened while I was being trained as a waitress at school. I go to a vocational school. If you don't know what that is, look it up. So let's say 2 years ago, my senior trainer, let's call her CC, and I had 2 squares and a round. Squares seat 4 people, and rounds typically seat 7. The restaurant closes at 1 p.m., so at 12:45, Entitled Mom and her kid, the kid was actually really sweet, so we'll just call him Kid, entered. The host brought them to a small 2-person table on one side of the room, but then Entitled Mom said that the table was too small and insisted on having a round for her and her kid to share. The host politely told Entitled Mom that we weren't allowed to seat parties of 2 at a round table meant for 7. So, with a mutter of a few swears or more, the pair moved to my table. Business went around as usual. CC introduced herself, and I said that I was only there for observation. That's when Entitled Mom made her first of many comments towards us. "Aren't you a little old to be trained? You should already know what you're doing." At the time, I was only 15 and had been in shop for only a few months. Not to mention, it was my first time in the dining room. CC explained why I was being trained. Entitled Mom just rolled her eyes and ordered a sandwich, while Kid just ordered a salad. Towards dessert time, CC had to take another table's order, so she sent me to ask Entitled Mom and Kid if they would like anything else. The conversation that follows is similar to the one we had. Me: "Will there be any dessert today, ladies?" Entitled Mom: "See, I knew you were just using your little friend so you didn't have to do any work." Kid: "Mom, please." Entitled Mom: "Just get us a menu and take these plates out of the way." At the time, I was a very shy sophomore, so I didn't bother saying something. I quietly grabbed their plates and then handed them a menu. When CC came back, they decided to order dessert. The mother claims she was on a diet, so Kid ordered a chocolate banana mousse. So CC typed it in and a few minutes later placed the mousse on the table. Typically, we wait to bring over the check when they're either 3/4 of the way done or fully done with their dessert. But we barely got around the corner when Entitled Mom waved us down again. "I don't like it. Take it back and off my bill." She took the mousse from her kid and gave it back to us. CC: "I'm sorry, is there anything else I can get you?" Entitled Mom: "Get me the rice pudding." Please keep in mind that this was not her dessert, this was her kid's. So we deleted the mousse off her bill and got her the rice pudding she so desperately wanted. This process repeated with the 10 other dessert items that were on our menu. Each one had a different excuse. "Not enough caramel," or "I don't like chocolate." Meanwhile, her poor kid was trying to eat her dessert without her mother changing it out for a new one. Before we knew it, we ran out of desserts. My teacher, aka my savior of the story, we'll call her TS, came over to me while CC dealt with the Entitled one. TS had been watching Entitled Mom from the moment she walked through the doors. She felt it was time to step in. She walked over and told me to print the check. The conversation that follows was the rudest thing a customer has ever said in our restaurant. TS: "Hello, ma'am. What seems to be the problem?" Entitled Mom: "What are you, another one of those brat students?" "No, I'm TS, the instructor of the dining room. My students tell me that none of our desserts have satisfied you." "Yeah, they were all awful. Not to even mention the service was awful. Your 2 students weren't even doing what I wanted. I ordered a prime rib, and I got a sandwich, and her salad was cold. I demand that my meal be free." Yes, this mom demanded her meal be free because the service wasn't up to her expectations. She came to a student-run restaurant at a school and expected things to fall right into her lap. We have a sign hanging above the entrance that says the entire shop is student-run and to be patient and respectful to those working and learning. This woman clearly did not understand that. T.S. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I cannot give you your bill for free. I watched you, and you ate everything on your plate and didn't even order a prime rib. Entitled Mom. This is BS. I came here with my daughter before she moves away, and I can't even get an ounce of respect from a woman who claims to be a teacher? Not to mention, the service here is crap. I demand to speak with your employer. This was when the kid jumped in. I was later told she was a past student at my school. Kid. Mom, it's a student-run restaurant. Things aren't going to be perfect. Salads are supposed to be cold, and you ordered the sandwich and ate all of it without complaining. Please just give me the check so I can escape further embarrassment. This shut Entitled Mom up. On command, I walked over and handed Kid the check and ended the conversation with, "Have a nice day." Entitled Mom then stormed out and left her daughter with a $25 bill. The kid apologized for her mother's behavior and bought us a bag of cookies as an apology. That was the last I saw of both of them. Next we've got Mega Karen thinks she is special because she has a $10 rewards program. Okay, so this is my first post on here, so bear with me. I'm also on mobile, so buckle up, folks. The main cast. We've got me. We've got Entitled Mother and Entitled Kid. I've never come in contact with an entitled parent. Until now. Recently, the new Joker movie came out. I decided to go to my local theater. I was going to watch the Joker movie alone. It was pretty cold, so I brought a jacket. I also brought it to keep my spot when I go to get snacks. The movie just came out last week as of this story, so I went like an hour and a half early. I was fifth in line. Keep in mind that this is an R-rated movie, and kids should not watch this movie. This will be important later. I sat down and started looking at memes on Reddit to pass the time. So an hour passes. Enter Entitled Mom. Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid walk in front of everyone. I don't notice at first, because I'm scrolling through Reddit. I hear the Entitled Mom grunt as she walks away with her son. I'm not sure what happened, but she went back in line in a huff. I am a 17-year-old male, old enough to watch R-rated movies on my own, and I'm just a tad bit on the chubby side. Entitled Mom sees this and walks in front of me. I notice right away this time around. The conversation goes as follows. Me. Excuse me, ma'am? What? I'm sorry, but the end of the line is back there. And? Well, I've been waiting here over an hour, and you just cut everyone here. Well, I have a rewards card. I paid for this. I bet you don't even have enough money to afford this. It's $10 per month and 5% off of everything. Me. Well, that doesn't mean you get to cut everyone here. We've been waiting here for a long time. There's a line for a reason, ma'am. Excuse me? I know what a line is. I came to watch a movie with my son. I graduated college. I am a single mother. How dare you speak to me like this? Me. Fine. I'll get somebody else to move you. Entitled Kid. I bet you're not old enough to watch this. Entitled Kid was like 7. I walk out of line to talk to somebody who works there. There's a few men in black suits and walkie-talkies standing by the line. They usually do this for new and popular movies. I tell them the situation, and one of them walks over with me. Let's call him E for employee. Employee. Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to step out of line and into the back. Entitled Mom. I am a rewards member. I am qualified to stand here. What is it that you people can't understand? Entitled Kid. I want to watch the movie already. I know, sweetie, I know. See what you did? You made him cry. He's standing, looks perfectly fine. Employee. Ma'am, please go to the back of the line, or we will have to ask you to leave. Entitled Mom stays quiet for a second. Fine. Entitled Mom and Entitled Kid walk to the back. The movie theater opens and we start to walk in. Entitled Mom starts following close behind me after pushing everyone else out of the way. I take my seat in the second row. I put my jacket down on the seat and walk out to get snacks. I come back with a large Coke, popcorn, and some candy. I noticed that Entitled Mom has taken my seat. I think, no big deal, I'll just sit somewhere else. But I realized my jacket was on that seat. I call the same employee, and it continues as follows. Employee: Ma'am, you are in OP's seat. Get up and move. Employee looks very annoyed and done with this. This is my seat. If this was his, he should have left the jacket on it or something. Entitled Kid: Dummy. Me: But I did. I left it on the seat. I left it in a very noticeable ball-like shape. I notice my jacket is stuffed under Entitled Kid's seat. I take it. Me: You tried to hide it? Really? Entitled Mom: What? No. Must have fallen. Why would you accuse me of this? Well, first, it's stuffed under your seat, not in front. And second, how would it fall one seat to the right? Entitled Mom turns a small shade of red. Employee: Ma'am, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. What? I'll get you fired. I know the manager. You should watch who you're talking to. Employee: But I am the manager. Entitled Mom turns bright red. She starts yelling and cursing at us. She gets dragged out by 2 security guards. Employee apologizes for all of this and gives me a free month of the rewards program. Nice. The movie goes on, and it well earned its R rating. Entitled Kid should not watch this. That was my first experience with a Karen. I hope that I don't run into another one. Next we've got, I demand you pay for or steal the snacks for my kid's birthday party. Background: At the local movie theater, you can host birthday parties for kids for free, provided you come see a movie, of course. You have to contact the theater to let us know what movie you'll be seeing and at what time. We then reserve the necessary amount of seats in the cafeteria so your party can take place after the movie. You have to provide the snacks yourself and still need to pay for the drinks you order, but you can hand us over your snacks, usually cake or pancakes, so we can put them in the fridge behind the bar and get everything ready on your table. Cake put on plates, pancakes heated up, etc. by the time your movie is over. Also important, my only other job where I had to regularly interact with customers was at my mom's pub. I am always polite, but when your mom is your boss, you can afford to be a bit more crappy with rude customers. It's a habit that's hard to break, especially when you're still regularly helping out at your mom's pub. The story. So this happened a couple of years ago while I was still working in the local theater. It was during the winter break, which is generally the busiest period of the year. I had the cafeteria shift, along with someone else. Before the first movie of the day played, we had 2 sets of parents hand over their snacks, and we'd take their info. Whose party, what movie, how many people, so we could have everything ready on time. After the pre-movie rush, we start refilling the shelves to have everything restocked by break time. This is when the person who works the register comes down to help us restock and informs us about the 3 birthday parties after the first movies. I tell him that's odd. We've only received the info for 2 parties. Luckily, he remembered how many tickets he sold them and for what movie, so we can have at least their tables ready. They'll probably hand over their snacks during a break or get them out of their car after the movie. Happens from time to time. Boy, was he wrong. Break time comes and goes, and still nothing about our mystery party snacks. We restock our shelves and get everything ready for the parties. The first 2 parties came to watch the same movie, so we put them in the same part of the cafeteria, as we can close this part off to prevent other people from getting to their snacks. The parties arrive, recognize their respective snacks, parents come to get some more drinks which we put on their tab, and enjoy their kids' respective party. By this time, the 3rd party arrived at the cafeteria, and we point them to their reserved tables. This is also when people for the next batch of movies start arriving and ordering drinks and snacks, so it's starting to get more busy. After taking their seats, the entitled mother walks up to the bar and orders 18 sodas. These are half-liter bottles at 2.8 euros apiece. She hands me a 100 euro bill, and I give her back the change. This is when the fun begins. Entitled Mom: Excuse me, but you seem to have made a mistake. Me: Sorry, what seems to be the problem? You didn't give me all my change. Me: You ordered 18 sodas. That's 50.4 euros. You gave me 100, so I returned 49.6. Shouldn't I get a discount? It's my child's birthday party. Look how many people we brought. Nope, sorry ma'am. At this point, I turned to another customer as it was getting busy. She scoffed, went back to her table, and I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. 10 minutes later, and things had gotten really busy. Manager had sent someone extra to help out. While I was hopping from customer to customer, my colleague, who had only started working there that winter break, tapped my shoulder and said she had a customer who demanded to talk to the person in charge. As I was the person behind the bar who had worked there the longest and the manager was indisposed, that was me. I turned around and lo and behold, entitled mother was there glaring at me. Me. What seems to be the problem? What is taking you so long? Excuse me? We've been waiting for over 15 minutes and you still haven't taken our order. What are you talking about? Our food! You took their orders. Points at other parties. When are you coming to take ours? Ma'am, we don't take orders or provide anything for your party for that matter. You're supposed to bring your own snacks. What? That's BS. How are we supposed to know that? Did you really think we would provide food for 18 people for free? Now, if that's all, I really need to get back to— No, this will not do. I demand you provide us with suitable snacks for my child's party. It's what we were promised. Me, still trying to be polite, but dropping my customer service voice. What do you want me to do, lady? Abandon my shift to drive to the nearest supermarket and buy you some pancakes? Yes, that would be adequate. Yeah. Gestures to the busy cafeteria. Not going to do that, lady. Then take something of theirs. Points at other parties. They obviously have enough, and my child deserves snacks on his party. It's what he was promised. One of the parents from these parties stood relatively nearby to order something. Important for later. Me. So now you want me to steal from our customers? I want you to provide me with the service I was promised. Tell you what I'm gonna do, lady. I'm getting back to work. I turned and left to help take someone else's order. She stomped off, going on about how she'd inform your manager and how you'll be sorry for this. 15 minutes later, and the rush had subsided. The parents of the other parties had had most of their kids' guests already picked up and had waited until it was less busy to pay their tabs. While I was doing this, my manager showed up with entitled mom in tow, looking at me with a crap-eating grin. Manager. Castle Fist, I've received a complaint from this woman that you refused to give them their snacks. Is this true? I explained how I couldn't give them their snacks, as they hadn't even handed them over, or brought snacks in the first place. Manager. Ma'am, is this true? Entitled mom, stammering. Well, yes, but you should be more clear in that we're supposed to bring them ourselves. Also, this man was incredibly rude to me. At this point, the father of one of the other parties from earlier jumped in. He told my manager of how entitled mom made a bunch of outrageous demands, including ordering me to steal their food, and was incredibly rude to both me and my colleague. He also told him how helpful I was with their party, and how any perceived rudeness was just because I was hurrying up to get back to my other customers. After this, the entitled mom just fell silent, and my manager basically told her to get her head out of her butt and leave the theater. She sunk back to her seat and told her party to get ready to leave. The parents of the other parties paid their tab and even gave us their leftover cake as a thank you for our service. The father made sure to say it loud enough so that entitled mom could hear it and winked at me. We ate the cake during the evening break, laughing about that entitled mom. It tasted extra sweet to me. Edit. Since a lot of people seem curious about it, I'm from Belgium. The term pancakes seems to cause some duplicity. They're not the thick American pancakes you see in the movies with lots of syrup. What I'm talking about is what in English would be called a crepe. Pancakes is much closer to what we call them though, hence my mistake. Apologies. Next we've got, Are you deaf, you lazy jerk? So I'm browsing the shelves at my local grocery store, pawing at the bread to check its softness and freshness, as if I'm some sort of squirrel going through the leaves for that elusive tasty walnut when it happened. Much like a squirrel, I was oblivious to most of it and only learned of the full extent of the damage caused by Karen later. I'm lost in the breed, noticing differences in how each loaf feels when I squeeze them, as if I'm gripping precious dinnerware. I didn't want to ruin the bread for anyone else, but I need to know how fresh they are. The dates printed on the plastic wrapping aren't always legible, and this puts the decision literally in my own hands. As I continue, I hear someone shouting from some distance away, but I pay it no mind. People yell in stores for all sorts of reasons. I hear it again a bit louder and think to myself, I'm glad I'm not any closer to that person. Like the victim in just about every horror movie ever made, I had no idea that person was already coming closer to me with vicious intent. I stroke 2 loaves of bread, one in each hand, and am deciding between them when someone is shouting right next to me. I honestly don't know what was said, but the shock of that volume level so close startled me. Like a house cat, I naturally form a defensive posture when I feel threatened, and I raised my arms and made a startling noise. I don't like it when people come up behind or beside me and I don't notice. I've been that way since I was a kid, which is a longer story than I want to share here. Both loaves of bread go into the air as I put my hands up, ready to defend myself against whatever demon from heck has ruined this grocery trip for me. I see a gray-haired older woman with glasses who reminds me a lot of every stereotypical grandmother image you might see. She's plump but not huge and waving a stubby finger at me. I think maybe she's been scolding me for touching the bread. I'll just explain myself and walk away. No real threat then. I was wrong. As I go to pick up the bread I dropped because of her, the witch does the needless and turns her own volume up to ear-splitting and screams, "Are you deaf, you stupid lazy jerk?" at me. Never one to miss an opportunity to be smart. Once my ear stopped ringing, I replied with, "No, but I might be soon if you don't shut up." Her eyes burned with the fury of 1,000 suns. She reached out and grabbed my wrist. My instinct kicked in within a couple seconds. I've got an old lady in a hammerlock. Just in time for a manager to come down the aisle. She wails about the horrible employees at this store and acts far more hurt than she could possibly be, claiming I attacked her out of nowhere and her arm was broken. It wasn't, and she'd be suing the store. Yep, I believe I'm going to jail here. But that was not to be. Apparently, Karen has caused a scene in the grocery store on other occasions. This manager had been watching the video feed in the back, following her every move around the store in anticipation of the fallout to come in her wake. She turns her gale force winds his direction, still shouting about what I had done, until the manager looks directly into her eyes and as calmly as the eye of the real hurricane says, "Would you like me to call the police for you?" She straightens herself and says yes, but then just as calmly and without taking his eyes from hers, the manager says, "Did you forget we have video again? I thought you'd remember from the last time, but we can check it if you'd like." Karen lets loose a half grunt, half scream, and waddles away and out of the store faster than I thought possible. The manager asks if I'm okay. I'm surprised at the whole scenario, but none the worse for wear. Still, he offers me a store gift card for $10 and I accept it. Free bread for the win. And shout-outs to our re-generals of the day. Raven Fox, Mikasa, Coriane, Joey, Audra, Chissy Spider, Tones Captain, and Five Nights at Freddy's Boss. Become tomorrow's re-generals by leaving as many re's as you can in the comments below.